Okay. I hope I'm audible. Yeah. So, hello guys, I'm Jyotish Kamal and I'll be taking this session. I'm an app developer at GDS CVIT. So, Flutter is a UI development framework made by Google based on the Dart programming language, which is also made by them. We can build apps that run on Android, iOS, web, Linux, and Windows from a single code base using Flutter. So, yeah, before we begin, I'm just going to give you a quick demo of the app to you guys so you can see what we're going to be building together. And I'll also provide resources in the chat for for uh, appropriate resources. Just give me 1 second on screen share. Okay. So yeah, this is the app that we're gonna be building today. So we can doodle on the app and we can use Gemini to identify what's on the doodle. So I just run a little doodle for you guys. And once I click on this button, we can see the doodle is identified by Gemini. So it says a whiteboard with the words "Hello guys" and a heart drawn on it. So yeah, let's get started. So if you have Flutter and Android Studio setup, which I don't think you guys do, I'm gonna give you a website where you can go and build an app. So this is just give me 1 second. Yeah, this will be in the chat, and the instructions will be provided as well. Rahul, can you drop the instructions, please? So you can go to this website and you can make your own Flutter app. Just go here and enter the app name, and once you click on create, it will be created. So I'm just gonna do it in my local terminal. Flutter create, let's say GDC Doodler. I'm just gonna open my code base here. Okay, let me close this. Okay, cool. Let me set it up real quick. So we're gonna do a few steps to set up our app. So first thing you gotta do is once you go here, you go to Android manifest.xml. You have to put some tags. So you know HTML, right? Similarly, this is XML. So there are some tags that you need to add here. I'm just gonna those instructions will be given in the chat as well. So first, when you're building the release APK, we won't have access to the internet. So when you go to debugs Android manifest, you can see that there's internet permissions there. But that won't be the case when you're making a release APK. So just add that tag here. And once that is done, you're also going to be using Vulkan as the renderer. So Vulkan is kind of like a graphics API that enables us to render whatever we see on the screen. So you just add these two lines. This will be provided in the chat as well. So once that is done, we're gonna start with the app. So first of all, we're gonna make some folders. So we need to separate our logics from the models provided. We just have to separate our logic so we can maintain a clean code base. So I'm gonna be following the model view controller or model view architecture. So what I'm gonna do basically is I'll separate the logic from the screens. So our code base will be easier to maintain by someone who joins new and is gonna contribute to the code base. So I'm gonna be making widgets and also services. So here, let's make a new file here, constants.dart. So once you make a new file, just we're just gonna keep our API key here. I'm just gonna keep it as a empty string for now. So where you get your API key is you go to Google and AI Google Studio. Yeah, you go here and you can get the API key over here. You create an API key, you select a project, and once you click on create API key, you'll get your API key. I'm just gonna add my API key here. Make sure you don't share your API key with anyone or put it in a public GitHub repository because well, people just snipe those and use that. So yeah, just give me 1 second. I'll just add my API key. Okay, now I've added my API key. So the first thing that we're gonna do is let's just run the app and let's see what Flutter has built for us. So you can when you're using project ideas, it will already be in debug mode. Now you can see tabs Android and web, but you have to debug here manually. You can press F5 to debug on VS Code. Okay. Okay, so this is the like a demo app that you get whenever you set up an app with Flutter. So when you press on this button, it will increment this counter. And yeah, so we're gonna start with making theme for the app. So nowadays there are a lot of apps that have light mode and dark mode, whichever side you prefer. Just gonna put Doodle app, and I don't want any specific colors, but you can put any color that you want. You can put red, and once you reload, changes the color to red. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And we don't need this page. We're gonna make our own screens. I'm gonna teach you how in just a moment. Let's start with just gonna make a placeholder screen here. In our screens folder, make a new file called drawing underscore screen, and inside this we just make a stateless widget. Oh, stateful, sorry. Gonna make a stateful widget which is gonna convert to a stateful consumer widget. I will teach you what that is in just a second. So yeah, let this be our make a scaffold, app path. I'm gonna add some weight to the font so it'll look a bit bolder. And yeah, okay. Now if we okay, I had imported my bad. Okay. Now if I refresh, okay, now we have a simple screen. So we're gonna make themes in the screen in a moment. So first of all, we're gonna implement state management using Riverpod. So Riverpod is a state management package or library in Flutter. So yeah, okay. So here the state is managed using set state. This is how you manage state in Flutter. But this becomes difficult when you have big apps. So you can't just manage state with set state. That's when you go to third-party state management solutions. And yeah, okay. So now we have the drawing screen set up. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna quickly get the packages. Flutter add. This will be given in the live chat as well. You can check it out. The command to add the packages, just open it in the terminal, and yeah. So once that is done, okay, let this be here. I'm just gonna put an empty column and some children. Okay, let it be that. Okay, so now we're gonna make our first provider. So this is gonna be providing the state of our themes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a theme provider, and it's gonna be a state notifier provider, and it will return a theme notifier. Return theme notifier, and we're gonna make a new class called theme notifier which will extend our state notifier, and we're gonna have a boolean value, but it can be nullable as well. So yeah, that's what the question mark stands for. We're gonna make a constructor, and we're gonna call the super constructor. So this is the super class. So we're gonna call the super class constructor, and we're gonna set the value of null to it. And if our state is null, we're gonna assign the state as false. I will explain you what this does in just a second. And once our state is not null, we check if it is false, and then we update it to true or null again. So what we're gonna do is when our state is null, we're gonna keep the system theme, and if our state is not null, we're gonna switch to light mode, and then we're gonna switch to dark mode. So we're just gonna cycle through it. So here we're just gonna do theme mode. Okay, before this you had to wrap your app in provider scope, so it can read our provider scope. It can read the providers that we create, and also do widgets, Flutter binding, ensure initialize. So all the widgets are initialized before runtime. And now theme mode, we're gonna make a theme state. We're gonna change this to a consumer widget so it can consume the state that we are providing in our providers widget wrap. And yes, this is just overloading the existing method in consumer widget. And we're gonna check. We're just gonna watch. So watch basically will listen for state updates and update the value. And if the value is updated, it will build rebuild the widget. Rebuild the widget is basically if you have dark mode and then you're switching again, like you're toggling. And once you toggle, you check if the okay, one second. Theme state. Okay. Theme state is equal to none. Okay. So it'll check for updates. Theme mode dark. 1 second. Okay, my bad. So you have to pass the type here as well because it will check for these. Because it will, when it's creating an object, it will check the type. It will create the objects based on the type. So first you have to pass the state notifier and then the value of the state notifier here as well. So once that is done, you can check that is the state of bool. So once this is set up, I'm just gonna quickly make themes. Let the color scheme be red itself, and we're gonna make brightness. So brightness will basically define if it's light mode or dark mode. Brightness dot light is for light mode, and then we're gonna make a bar theme. Okay. Background color will be white. Elevation as 0. And also put a scaffold color of gray. Gray 100. So light gray. And then foreground color as black. I don't need any title text color. I'm just gonna give icon theme color. Icon theme black 54. So just give me 1 second. I'm just checking the comments. Do you guys have any doubts? Okay. So now we have set up the light theme. We're gonna set up the dark theme. Lightness dot dark. Say the color is the gray 900, so a bit of dark gray. And I'm gonna change this to gray 850, a bit lighter than the scaffold background color. And just gonna put white 70. And yeah, okay. So now we set up the themes, and we are managing the themes using the theme provider. Now we're gonna make a button which can modify our theme. We're gonna make this consumer stateful. So see, stateful widgets are from Flutter. Consumer stateful widgets is from our Riverpod package. So yeah, consumer state. So here we're gonna make a new action button. Say icon button. I don't need this icon. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check for theme state again. I'm gonna read theme state from here. Final theme state equal to ref.watch. I'm gonna watch for updates for the theme provider, and if the theme state is null, I'm gonna display the brightness auto icon. Sorry, icons dot brightness underscore auto. And if it is we set our true state is dark mode and false is light mode. And if we press this button, we have to update our theme provider. So we just toggle the theme. So let's just run this and check if our setup is done. And then we'll move on to making our drawing canvas and all the other goodies that come with this Doodle identifier app. In the meantime, I'm just gonna make some files. Gemini service.dart. Oops. And a widget as well. So it's gonna be a drawing canvas. And we're gonna have a drawing provider as well. We definitely need the states for the drawing. Okay. Now we have a models drawing point. Okay, cool. What happened here? This failed. Okay. I'm just gonna remove this one off. Okay. Oh. Okay, there we go. It works, but the color of the text is bad. I'll check that. Scaffold. Dark. Foreground color should be white. There we go. Now our themes is set up. So if you click on this, also if you find the debug banner, now you can just disable it using this parameter. Now we have theme set up. So now we're gonna make our first drawing point model. So we're gonna make a drawing point class to extend equatable class, so we can compare between two drawing points. And first I'm going to make an offset, so this will give us the coordinates of x and y, and then a paint object which will give us the properties like stroke, color, cap, round, stroke width, etc. We don't need this. We just need if it's a new stroke or not. I will tell you why in a moment. I'm just gonna add, yeah, I'm gonna make this. I'm just gonna give a default value to this new stroke if it's not provided. I'm gonna make this constructor constant, and I'm gonna import material.dart. So once this is done, okay, I had to override this one. I'm gonna make this override, and yeah, this is gonna return the offset paint is new stroke. After this, we're gonna make a drawing state, which is the important part of this. Okay, this will be the important part of this this app. So we're gonna have a list of drawing points. We're gonna have a 2D list. This is gonna be our redo history, and we're gonna have selected color and selected width. And we don't need this constructor. I want to remove this one as well. It's gonna make required name, yeah, that would be fine. And we're gonna give some default values. This is gonna be a constant array always. And the selected color, let's just go with black. Let it be the default color is all black, and the width, let it be 2. 2 is fine. And we're gonna make a copy with method, so we can update our state whenever we need to. Drawing state copy with, gonna take return. So inside this, yeah, return a new drawing state with the following Okay, I'll just give some time to just see this. So we're gonna copy with the, if the points is not null, we're just gonna copy with that. Otherwise, we're gonna retain the same thing. Okay, now we have set up our drawing state. Now let's work on our, let's say drawing state. We're gonna make the canvas and a few more. Before we do that, hmm, okay, let's just start with the canvas then. Expanded widget will make the children occupy the whole screen. Let's just go with expanded, and we're gonna take a screenshot of the doodle before we do anything, and before we send it to Gemini. And the child of this is gonna be a container, and inside that container we'll have um, a margin. Let's say 16 is fine. Controller. So this controller will be the one that's gonna screenshot capture. So final screenshot controller is going to make it private. So in Flutter, the variable naming conventions are, if you have an underscore, it will make it private. So just pass the controller to this, and I'm going to do some decoration here as well. Box decoration. I'm going to keep the color as white. Then I'm going to border radius, let it be 12. 12 is fine, and box shadow. Yeah, so if we get this error, just replace it with something else. I'll tell you how it will look like. Gray or with opacity 0.2. If we're getting this error, just replace it with alpha 0.2 times 255.2 in, and now it will be fine. So yeah, I have box shadow. Now we're gonna give a child to this container, and it's gonna be flipper red. So we have so this basically, it will make the corner radius smoother. So we have a circular corner radius. We don't need this container. We're gonna replace this with our drawing canvas, which we're gonna make right now. This drawing canvas will be over here. This is also gonna be a stateless widget, but we're gonna make it um, using consumer widget. Import that, and we have to update the function, and yeah, widget ref. Okay, so now we have updated that as well. So now we're going to use just a detector. So it's going to look for touches, and it's going to update our state. So on pan start, just going to keep this, and on pan update. And yeah, okay, now we have this setup. And drawing screen, just going to call this over here. And yeah, that will be good to go. Just give me 1 second. Okay, good. Now that is done, let's just check this. Okay, now we're gonna add the logic for how the drawing is gonna be done. So let's go with custom paint. This is where the custom paint comes in. It allows us to paint on widgets using Flutter's custom painter. So we have a drawing painter class that we're gonna make. So just give me 1 second. Create a class. It's gonna extend custom painter, and we're gonna create the missing overrides too. Once that is done, so it should repaint. So whenever we update, so it should repaint. We want to set it to true, and yeah, that is done. Now we're just gonna give a size box over here. We have a margin there, so we don't need to worry about the height and width. So I'm just gonna give it as infinity. Now let me reload. We have a canvas here now, so cool. Now what we do is we write the logic for adding points and how the paint should be drawn on the canvas. So for that, we're going to go back to our drawing provider, and we're going to write the logic here. Drawing provider is equal to state notifier provider. And again, same thing, we're going to return our drawing notifier. gonna make a class for this as well. This is gonna extend our state notifier. Import that and drawing state. Or import that as well. Semicolon over here. Okay. So now we're gonna make a constructor. Okay. So we're gonna make a constructor with the point set to null array. We don't need to worry about radius tree because it's already set to null. We're gonna make an add point function. So here we're gonna receive the offset, and it's also gonna receive the new stroke or not. So we have to check if it is a new stroke. As a default value be false. And now we're gonna start with the painting. So just gonna make a paint. We're gonna get the color from the state color and stroke width from the state as well, and stroke gap is round. So we don't want any cut edges. We have something like this, a circle. Once that is done, we're gonna make a new point. New point is equal to drawing point, and yeah, now we just copy the state over here. We have updated the point. We kept this is the what this operator does is it will it's kind of like it will get the individual elements, append it to this list, and it will also add this point. So yeah. Also, we have to modify something over here. We have to set the read history to null. Otherwise, your widget won't update. Like it will retain the read history from your previous drawings. So you have to be careful with that. Then we're gonna make a clear canvas function. What it's gonna do is it's just gonna set the points to null again. And we're also gonna create change color. Gonna pass the color here and set the color. Same for the stroke as well. Change stroke width. Gonna take a bool value. Stroke width and stroke width. Selected with stroke width. Oh, sorry, double. My bad. There we go. We have the basic setup. Now we're just gonna work on our drawing canvas. So if the points array is empty, points dot is empty. Okay, haven't passed the points yet. So final list of drawing points. This is gonna get the list of drawing points from our drawing state. Drawing point. I'm gonna make a constructor. In here, I'm just gonna pass it. Final drawing state. Just gonna get the points from here. Drawing provider. Points can be okay. So here, I have to check this. I have to pass the notifier and the type. So our type is a custom model. We have to pass that. And here we just check if the points is empty. If it's empty, we return. And now we make a for loop. Points dot length -1, and then we're just gonna check if points of I+1. If it's a new stroke, we continue, and then we're just gonna draw a line. Say points of I dot offset and points of I+1 dot offset, and the paint will be same as points of I dot paint. Now if I save, we can draw. One second. CustomPainter. Okay, so I haven't added the logic here, so let me just add it here quickly. Drawing provider dot notifier, and we're gonna add a point. And here we have to, there will be a function. Details the local position and new stroke. Now on update, so we've already started with a new stroke, so we just have to update from the current coordinate. So we don't need to put a new stroke over there. And yeah, now we can draw something here. Okay, cool. So now we just drew something on the canvas, but we don't have any way to clear it. So we're going to add some buttons to our um, app bar. So let's start with clear canvas first. Icon button left dot read. It's gonna read the drawing provider again, and the notifier will contain the methods. So we have clear canvas, and the icon will be icons dot clear. There we go. I save. Now we can clear the canvas. The same way we're gonna add our redo and undo buttons. Undo. Let's start with undo. Clear. Oh, I think it would be better if the undo button was before. 1 second. The undo button was before the clear button. Undo, undo. Okay, we haven't made the functions yet, but we'll make them in just a second. Clear canvas. This is redo. Now we're gonna make the logic for undo and redo. So let's go back to our drawing provider. Void undo. We're gonna check if our states points is empty. We're gonna return. Otherwise, we're gonna check last stroke index, and then we are gonna state dot points dot length -1. So be our last stroke index, and we're gonna do this last stroke is greater than 0. We don't want to go out of bounds, and we check if it is a part of the current stroke or not by doing last stroke index dot is new stroke, and then it's gonna start decrementing it. And now we'll have our new final removed points. Removed points will be state dot points. So I'll return a new list till from 0 to last stroke index. And now we're gonna add this point to our redo history, just like that. And final points, we're gonna do again state dot points dot sublist from 0 to last stroke index. And then we update our state with a state.copy with function. Now if I reload this, okay, we still don't have redo, so let me make that real quick. It's going to be similar to this. I'm just going to copy paste this redo, and we have to check the redo history here. Redo history, last removed stroke. So we're going to get the last removed stroke from state.redo history dot last. And we're gonna update our redo history by state dot redo history dot sublist. Yeah, redo history dot. We're gonna get rid of that removed stroke from the redo history, and we're gonna update our points with dot state dot points, and we're gonna add it over here. And yeah, that's it. Now if I reload, we can see our undo and redo button. So let's see. Let's say hello. Can undo and redo. So now that works. So now we have only black color. So we need more colors. Because more colors better. We can draw whatever we want. So let's start with making our colors. Just give me 1 second. I'm just gonna check the live chat. If you guys have any doubts. Okay, no doubts. Cool. So yeah, let's continue then. I'm gonna make another column, and this column will contain. Oh no, let's start with the container. So we want a small box at the bottom for our to hold our stroke with slider and our colors. So we're gonna put a padding of 16, and let's do some decoration as well. Decoration, box decoration. So the color should update on the state. So we check the theme and check the brightness is equal to brightness dot dark. Let's say if it's dark theme, I want a color of 850 or hmm, or let's say white 50. Okay, 74. Okay, 70. Okay, cool. So now we have this. Just give me 1 second. Mm, okay. So we updated our state of the container. Now we have the color setup. Now we're gonna do box shadow. Let's give it some shadow. We also had to update the color here depending on the state. So here the color will again be kind of similar to this, but we update color can't be okay. Okay, let's see. Gray. If it is dark theme, we're gonna go with black with opacity, or you can do with alpha 0.3 minus 255 to in. I'm just gonna copy paste this. I'm gonna do gray with opacity of 20% gray, and I'm gonna define the blur radius as 10, spread radius as 1, and an offset as 0, comma minus 4. So you can distinguish it from the canvas. Minus 4. There we go. Now we have our container setup, and we're gonna make our slider. So I'm gonna add a child here. Okay, that wasn't child. Okay, so for the container we add a child. It's a column. So column is so the children, the widgets will be in a vertical array. So yeah, here I just want a slider over here. Children slider. So the value will be, it's going to be watching the value of our drawing provider selected with dot round. We're going to round the width because if you don't round it, it will still be in floating point when you see it on the slider. On value, we're going to round. Okay, we don't need to round actually. It's just going to be a value. But on the label, we do have to round it because otherwise it'll be 2.0, 18.0 like that. I'm going to change stroke with what function. Okay. Def dot read. Yeah, should be value. And once that is done, we're gonna set our minimum and maximum values of the slider. Max value be 20 and the divisions be 19. That's how we get 20 points, 20 points in a line. And we're just gonna read the drawing provider selected with. Now if I reload, you can see we have a slider at the bottom here. I can adjust. So if we don't have round, you can see that it's 2.0 like that. It's in decimal. So to do round, it will be in integer. So that's better. Now let's test if the stroke is updating or not. Okay, it is updating. Cool. Clear canvas again. Okay. There is something wrong with clear canvas. It just reset the stroke. I'll check that. Clear canvas points. Oh, it's just wrong. Copy width. There we go. Now if I clear canvas with stroke width, shouldn't update. Okay, cool. Now we have created a slider. Just gonna add some spacing over here. Size box. If you're on Flutter 3.7, you can just do spacing at the top here. Let's add 8, but if you're not, you can just do size box with the height of 8. And now we're gonna make a row of widgets. So row children, we're gonna space them evenly, so it'll look nice. And yeah, and we're gonna have a for loop here. Color in. Let's say we want black, blue, or red is fine. Red, green. Okay, that's too much colors. blue, then green. Gonna get rid of the rest. Okay, instance number, red, colors. There we go. And now, okay, so auto completed most of the work for me. Gray dot shade 400. So now once we save, you can see that we have our colors now. Let's check if it is actually updating the colors or not. Okay, cool. It does update the colors. Once we clear canvas, it's gone. And yeah, okay. So but now we have only four colors. What if we need a different color? Like I want to select from a color wheel. So I'm just gonna copy this gesture detector and I'm gonna paste it over here. Instead of updating the new color, I'm just gonna make a function show color picker, which is going to open our color picker. So I'm just gonna do a show dialog and how to make a function over here which passes the context, and I'm gonna return a new alert dialog with the title context pick a color, pick a color, and the content will be color picker. The left dot watch. You're gonna be watching the current color over here, selected color, and once the color is changed, we're gonna pass the color to our change selected color function. So just have to read the drawing provider notifier, and we have to update it. Change color. So once that is done, we have finished it. We just have to adjust the height here. We don't want it to be too big. Just gonna do 0.8. That should be fine. And yeah, now we have our color picker function. But here, undefined name color. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a gradient. So we're gonna make a rainbow gradient. Let it be a sweep gradient. You know, we have those in like I don't know. Um, yeah, colors dot red, then colors dot orange. I'm gonna make it a smooth gradient yellow. Colors dot yellow, green, then blue, then indigo, then purple, and again red. So that's this. Okay, had to check this one. Circle, selected color. Okay. So instead of this logic, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have an array again from the or from this one. We're gonna check if these arrays are not these colors are not selected. So we have to check dot contains left dot watch drawing provider selected color, and if it doesn't contain, we're gonna have the border to be the color that we selected. So yeah, just gonna save. We have our small wheel here. Okay, cool. Okay, I forgot to add a done button over here. Give me 1 second. Actions. This button over here real quickly. We're gonna pop navigator dot pop of context. Make this a void callback, and the child should be a text saying done. Okay, cool. Now we have the done button. Okay, we have made our color picker. Let's test if it works or not. You can see that the ring is now kind of light red color, and this also works. Okay, now our Doodle app is done, but we still haven't made the Doodle identification. So that's where we're gonna use Flutter Gemini package, and I'm gonna set this up real quickly. So hope you guys have already set your API key in constants. Let's import the Gemini package, API key, Gemini API key. Also, we're gonna do some safety settings just in case it doesn't recognize inappropriate drawings, safety setting, dangerous, let it block medium and above. Just gonna copy paste it and do the same thing for harassment, hate speech, and sexually explicit. Okay. Now we've set up our Gemini. Now this will be initialized when our app loads. Now we're gonna write our Gemini service. It's gonna be a simple class, Gemini service. It's gonna contain the Gemini instance, Gemini dot instance. To import it, and we're gonna make a function. So future is kind of like an asynchronous function. So we have promises in JavaScript. In Flutter, we have future. So yeah, we use that to await. Okay, we had to pass the bytes here. We use that to await. 1 second. Yeah, use that to await any API calls or files that being loaded from the mobile or yeah, so storage. Just gonna do a simple try catch. If I find any error, I'm just gonna log error identifying doodle. Let's do that. Or it can be an error when the image is not proper also. So I'm just gonna do error occurred. And I'm just gonna print that. And yeah, so final result. I'm gonna await Gemini dot prompt. I'm gonna extend the prompt here right now. Part dot text. I'm gonna pass what's wrong in this doodle. Just give me a short answer because why not? I don't want the paragraphs explaining what's wrong with this doodle. But if you want, you can do that too. So there's no problem with that. I'm gonna pass the image bytes here, and yeah. And now I'm just gonna return the value. So this dot then is kind of like higher order function. So once we get the response, we're gonna check. We're gonna pass the value. So we'll basically pass the response in the function, and we're gonna return the output. And now finally we return result. We make sure that we're using null types so we can handle the error in our drawing screen. We don't need this. And if nothing happens, you're just gonna return null here. Yeah, that is it. Now we go to drawing screen, and we're gonna add a button. For first of all, we're gonna add a button here, and this will be identify doodle. I'm gonna make a method. Future. This is not gonna return anything, so it's gonna be an asynchronous function. And yeah, okay. So we're gonna add an icon. Psychology outline looks pretty cool. I'm gonna add that. Okay, I'm just gonna check the chat for any doubts. Can I get the resources link? Rahul, can you drop the doc, please? Okay. So let's continue. We'll get the resources link soon in the chat. Yeah. Okay. So try. I'm gonna catch here as well. Okay. Now we have a try catch here. Let's just verify the function over here. Okay, cool. Looks good. Let's go to drawing screen. So now we're gonna capture the image, so final image bytes. Final is basically it can't be modified um, after you assign a value to it. I'm gonna capture the screenshot. If image bytes is null, we're gonna show an error dialog. Error dialog. Fail to capture screenshot, and then we're gonna return. Just gonna create a method for this as well. Alert show dialog context And okay, nice. Autocomplete is pretty cool. Error text. Okay, cool. This is gonna be a simple error dialog. So if the image byte is not null, we're gonna make a Gemini service instance. Gemini service, and I'm gonna identification. Let's say equal to await Gemini dot identify doodle. Gonna pass the image bytes. And now we're just gonna add a loading screen. So how do we add a loading screen? So show dialog, simple. We just show a dialog. So we'll add new. We can add it over here also, so no problem. So once the image byte is not null, we can start loading context, and we can return another dialog. We don't need title, and I'm gonna make sure it's not barrier dismissible, so we can't just close the app like that. I close the loading. So I'm gonna check. So it's saying don't use build context crossing gaps. So there's a mounted check. So it checks if the widget is present in the widget tree. So yeah. So if it is not mounted, it will just return. If it is mounted, it will show dialog. And I'm gonna add a circular progress indicator. I'm gonna wrap it. Don't need an alert dialog. You can just return this. Just gonna wrap it with center so it will look cool. Now once that is done, if identification is not equal to null, I'm going to first once we're done awaiting, we can just pop the loading screen. So we don't need a loading screen anymore. I'm just gonna add a mounter check here again. Mounter return, and if the identification is not null, I'm gonna show dialog context and uh, return alert dialog. Go to the identified text button. We're gonna pop the once you press it, we don't need the alert dialog anymore, so you can just pop it. And yeah, so once that is done, otherwise we're gonna show error dialog. Show error dialog. Fail to identify doodle. Then here, if we can pop the loading screen. So let's say our loading screen hasn't um, closed yet. So we have to check if we can pop navigator or can pop. If we can pop, we just pop the context and just show a loading screen again. I mean, show error dialog. Uh, Fail to identify doodle. We couldn't identify doodle. There's something Germany. Failed wrong. Could not identify doodle. Failed to identify doodle. And yeah. So now we have set up our doodle identification as well. So let's try it out. Hello. Let's see. Failed to identify doodle. Let me just reload because I haven't initialized the Gemini package yet. Let's try now. Hello. Okay. Mhm. There we go. It works. Let's draw a small Christmas tree and check. It's time for Christmas anyway. I don't like to increase the stroke with. Excuse my bad drawing, but yes, it is what it is. Let's get a dark brown color. This is fine, I guess. And let's draw some. Okay, so now, yes, so I did a mistake. Not really a mistake, but a logic error. I implemented a really poor optimized version of the drawing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna rewrite the drawing logic. So for that, we're gonna make a path object, current path, and here we're gonna make a current paint as well. It will all make sense in just a moment. I will just show you. We're gonna create a paint. Create paint points dot first dot okay points dot first dot paint. Oh, and just pass points dot first. We're gonna make a function just going to return the paint. Return paint object color, then stroke width, stroke gap, then stroke. Okay, okay, I just semicolon. My bad. Stroke style. Be a style here somewhere, and stroke join. So two strokes that are close to each other will be joined smoothly, and we're gonna anti-alias it as well, so there's no jagged lines. So once this is done, we can start. So we're gonna move to the current point. So current path dot move to points dot first dot dx, the x coordinates, and points dot first dot dy. Sorry, points dot first dot offset dot dx, and points dot first dot offset dot dy. So once I move to the point, we have to go to the next point. So we're going to start with 1, the second index, I less than points dot length, and I'm going to increment I. Now we're going to have a point, final point is equal to points of I. Now we're going to check if should start new stroke. We're going to pass the current point and the previous point. Or previous point and current point. Previous point is this, and current point is this point, and we're gonna make a function. Create method, drawing point. This one is previous, right? Previous. This one is current. Now we're gonna return. It's a current and new stroke. You have to start a new stroke. Otherwise, you have to check if the colors are matching or not. Okay. The colors are different or stroke is different. We just check this just in case, and then yeah. So now once this is done, we're gonna current path dot uh, canvas dot draw path. We're gonna pass draw path, current path, and paint. Now we're gonna update our current path and paint. So current path will be a new instance, and current paint will be a new paint of the point. So this will be the second point. We already updated the first point, and we're gonna move to the canvas dot move to sorry current path dot move to point dot offset and point dot the x and y coordinates. And now in the else condition, we're gonna check if I is within bounds. I is less than points dot length minus 1, and we check for points of I plus 1 dot this new stroke. So if it's part of the same stroke, we don't need to start a different stroke again. So now we get the point final P0, let this be points of I minus 1 dot offset, and final P1 is point dot offset. We're going to calculate the midpoint to draw a Bezier curve. So yeah, midpoint. And now we can draw quadratic Bezier to P1. We're going to draw from current point to the next point. P1 and midpoint, and that's it. If this condition fails, we just draw a simple line to the point. And finally, we have one point left, so we just draw a path. Canvas dot draw path. And yeah, so now we've done the logic we updated our unoptimized logic. This was the unoptimized logic. Optimized logic. Now we updated the logic with better rendering. So yeah, let's see. Do you guys have any doubts? Okay, cool. So now let's assume drawing a Christmas tree. Want to increase the stroke. Let's get the brown color again. Okay, yeah, that's good. It's gonna draw a few lights. And now I'm just gonna draw a small star at the top. Okay, yellow. Okay, this one is nice. Let's see. Can hardly see it. Maybe I should get a new yellow color. Maybe a bit darker. Yeah, this is better. Let's see if Gemini can identify this. There we go. It did identify. Cool. So yeah, this is the Doodle identifier app. I somehow managed to do it in an hour. So yes, now we're gonna move on to um, little notes on about CASA. It's the National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse. So yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Also, I'll make the repo public for the Doodle identifier app. You can experiment with it. Can you screen share the Canva slide, CASA slide, Rahul? Okay, cool. Okay, so CASA stands for Fostering Healthier and Balanced Lifestyles, especially in high stress environments like colleges. Today, we'll explore how CASA helps individuals manage mental and prevent substance abuse, enabling us to excel while staying healthy. So, what is CASA? CASA, the National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse, is dedicated to educate and support individuals. It connects mental health, stress management, and substance abuse prevention, empowering individuals to make informed, healthier choices. So, understanding CASA's role, it plays a vital role in educating us about the risks of substance abuse while offering resources to manage stress in healthier ways. Their goal is to foster resilience through knowledge and proactive decision making. Support systems are crucial for prevention and recovery. CASA emphasizes counseling, peer groups, and online resources to build trust and share experiences, creating a foundation for healthier communities. As tech students, we face unique stresses. CASA reminds us to balance our work with mental practices like breaks, exercise, and mindfulness. A healthy mind sustains creativity and innovation. Conclusion. In conclusion, CASA's principles guide us to a balanced, health conscious life. Let's commit to supporting each other and making informed, resilient choices for our well being and success. Okay, thank you. So that's it for this session, guy. Looking forward to more sessions. So, yeah, bye bye.